I worked with Youngdan, the Harbour Commissioner. A very straightforward man. He tell you what he thought of you, okay? In no uncertain terms, very rarely, but he'd never look back to see could he catch you idling or anything like that. Never look back. That's one thing about him. Very straightforward man. It's not tape, this is not yet. No. He was prejudiced against the British government, not against our troops. The occupation of Ireland. Yes, he wanted Ireland free. He wanted a 32-county republic. He was an active member very active member of Sinn Féin. Very sympathetic to them. Yes. About Ireland, I found, first of all, religiously, that practically everybody practiced the Catholic religion. They were Catholics. There was no such thing practically as cohabitation. There was no contraceptives or anything like that. They were far more religious, far more devout, and they prayed by night quite a lot. In my youth, in the area where I was, people were very, very poor because the dockyard closed down with 2,000 workers there nearby. There was no water, practically. You had to draw water with a bucket. In many places of Ireland, there was no such thing as proper toilet facilities. There were no cars. Everybody had to cycle or walk, travel by pony and trap. The standard of living was very poor. The quality of the homes were much poorer than what they are today. There was quite a lot of thatched cottages and all that kind of thing. Very poor people, very religious, far more helpful to each other. There was only a couple of hospitals, and people in mind looked after their sick at home and they're dying. It was far greater cooperation, as I said, far, far greater. There wasn't the vulgar language that was that is, I won't say Albert or that. Okay. 50-50. I prefer to grow up in Ireland as I was born if we have facilities now like cars and that kind of thing. And there were no women drinking at that time publicly anywhere or anything like that. I had no objection to that or anything, not in the slightest. There was no television, and therefore people mixed. They went from one home to another for social chat and that kind of thing each evening. It was far more friendliness and greater neighbourhood, whereas now, in a few doors from each other, people don't know each other actually. Where I live, I don't know people. I know them to see, but we never converse with each other or anything. A couple of doors from each other even. Whereas when I was born, you knew everybody in the village, and you could enter their homes and they could enter yours. All that kind of thing. It's gone. And I blame television a lot for it, because people want to look at television. They don't want you coming in for an idle chat and that kind of thing. Far greater social life. As far as being neighbours are concerned, in a neighbourly social life. Understand? Yes. Far greater than radio. All the social life you had at that time, you went to the cinema maybe once a week, or to a dance. Now all dancing is closed down practically. There's no dancing hardly around, except for young people, very young people. But people that time, they had, one thing I noticed is that through dancing, most of marriages took place, getting to know each other. Whereas now they have to try and meet in pubs or something else. Believe it or not, in my time, 4 pence, and there were 240 pence to the pound. As a small child now, my father was earning about £2 a week. And in my youth also, farmers had 7 shillings a week, and there was 20 shillings to the pound. You usually had about a shilling pocket money or something like that. You wouldn't have you'd have only about 2pence a week as a child. Parents couldn't give to you. The majority of cases now, 16 years exactly, you had to be over 16. You couldn't afford it. A pint was 9 pence a pint, that time, 9 pence a pint. I was living in Ringaskiddy, and it was 12 miles from Cork City. You go local dance, you cycled. It was all cycling that time. What I found about it was that the best minister we ever had for industry and commerce was Sean Limath. To see modernised Ireland, not De Valera. De Valera was all for agriculture, but to see industrialise the country. But I find now that, in my opinion, that there was squandermania, there was too much pride, trying to better than another, paying £400,000 and all this kind of thing. Well, they had to or else, but there was a lot of things unnecessary actually that people were buying and everything, No holidays at that time or any. There were holidays, but you took them in Ireland. I have no doubt about it whatsoever, but the Irish government made mistakes. The Irish people made mistakes. The cost of land. I can remember a cousin of mine, she bought a site, an acre of ground, for £50. And she built a bungalow, a nice bungalow, three bedrooms, for £400. And this is when I was a young man, about 17 or 18, for £400. And she got a government grant of 200. There's only £250 for an acre of ground. Look at the price of, a few years ago, the price of a site. It was outrageous, actually. When I started work as a tradesman, in I'll tell you, when I was 21, I'm 91 now, 70 years ago, my pay was £5 a week as a tradesman. Decent livelihood at that time. But you couldn't afford a car or anything that time, you know what I mean? Although a car at that time was £95 for a car. We priced ourselves out. We looked for too much money. We couldn't compete against other countries. That was the cause of why many of our factories had to close and everything. Couldn't compete. Our cost of living went up too much. That was the principal cause of our downfall. We priced ourselves off the mark. No, my father was a boiler maker actually, in the naval dockyard in Arbol. But that closed down in 1921, 22 I think, around that time. The early 20s anyway. And then he emigrated to Canada. They would, but I would not, because had we not achieved independence, we would have been in World War II, and we'd have thousands of our population dropped, a couple of million of our population killed, because we had no air force, we had nothing practically. We'd have no defences. So I think that separation was good for us. Another thing about the difference, which is a decided asset, is that today we have free education, which is a wonderful thing. In my time, there was nobody, only the very well off could afford third-level education. Nobody at all. Okay, except for the mess up we made for a couple of years, that's all.